Hello, everybody. Hi. Hi.
Hi.
Welcome. Hi. Welcome to Explorers of Elsewhere, live stream, Tales of Elsewhere, words. I'm DM Dan. Pleased to meet you. And I'm joined by 4 mystery sleuths. 4 of the greatest crime-solving masterminds, not criminals, just crime-solving, maybe criminal, masterminds this side of the portal. Hi. How are the 4 of you all doing?
Ready to solve a murder.
A murder?
Murder.
Yes. This is you know, we've already kickstarted the second tale, and wouldn't you know it, there was a mansion and there was a murder, and it is a mystery. It is a mansion mystery murder. No, a mansion murder mystery. Might be a mystery mansion murder. To be fair, you don't know.
It is a magical mystery mansion.
It is. All of the M's. Yes. Hello Theo, hello Georgia, hello Livy, hello PC Dan, hello world. Just to double check if all of us are coming through. We've got our ever loyal sound engineer Nate in the chat. Yeah, while we wait for that, you had good weeks. You all been doing good.
Yeah.
Wet.
I'm good.
Yeah,
It's wet.
it is quite.
It's certainly raining.
How British of us to be complaining about the weather live on the internet.
We're on
I
brand.
I work outdoors, so it's a big effect for me.
No, that's
Not
fair.
fun.
That is fair. I should just point out that the 4 of you and everyone that watches this is blessed, because right now I should be eyeballs deep in the new Legend of Zelda game, and yet I'm not. I'm here for your viewing pleasures.
Thank you, Dan.
That's right, you are more than well. Don't worry.
So much.
How big? How
Thank
noble?
you for your commitment.
Thank you. It was a hard decision to make, a harder pill to swallow, but here we are. So yes, enough waffling. We have stumbled across a mansion with a mystery involving a murder that is magical. Who would like to A, watch the title video, and B, get back into it?
Yes, please.
Woo.
Yes.
Let's go. All across the unknown world, rediscovery pushes ever onwards to find the lands and people lost. All thanks to our brave explorers.
Hi, I'm Dan, and I'm playing Vanya, the Wolfkin Warrior.
Hey, I'm Livy. I'm going to be playing Rayri, the Sprite Ranger.
Hi, my name's Theo, and I'm playing Cal, the Sangavar Guardian.
I'm Georgia, and I will be playing Elfric Stormhawk, a Dragon Scent Bard.
And my name is DM Dan. I'll be the GM in these adventures. The further we go, the more we learn of these magical tales from elsewhere. So, we return the 4 of you to a dining hall in the mansion of an archmage that, it would seem, is no longer part of the living. After a recent commotion from the very elderly goblin butler, Bendel, he has discovered the body of the archmage, Ulick, who's seemingly throwing a gala party of sorts in celebration of his apprentice, Agathar, the famous Wolfkin mage, currently at one end of the table. the four of you plus Vinny, the dire chihuahua, sit or stand opposite from the majority of the other guests. The one difference being the looming figure of the Justicar, the Keeper Justicar Valana, who is currently sort of like holding up Bendel, who's for all intents and purposes collapsed to the floor in the doorway of the dining hall. And as over the sounds of Bendel's kind of squealing, squeals of grief, the keeper, the desert keeper, who's kneeling down to look, hold the goblin, bellows, "Tell me exactly what happened." And the goblin responds, I went to fetch him in his quarters, and when I entered, I found him lying in a pool of his own blood in the middle of the room. And as he says that, the Keeper Paladin turns her head to look at the four of you, and the expression on her face quite clearly says one thing: that she does not believe this to be an accident. Master Ulick is normally so extremely careful. Only the main door in... There's only the one entrance to his room. And he says, sort of like pointing a finger over his shoulder. And like Valana slowly stands the goblin up. And the four of you note that she's saying this kind of loud enough that like she's making a statement more than a question when she says, "How many ways are there in and out of this mansion?" Just the one. Only the main door in the foyer leads in and out of this extra dimensional space, the goblin says. Who's got the highest knowledge? Did we ascertain it was Alfric?
I think it's Alfric.
Alfric, okay. So Alfric...
Yeah, one thing.
Yeah, no worries. So Alfric, as Bendel says this, it dawns on you again that yes, the inside of this mansion is significantly larger than the outside of the outside tower would have you like believe. So theoretically, you've teleported in somehow. You've certainly translocated. But as the Justicas, so the paladin's kind of focusing down on the goblin. Has anyone else departed this evening? She says to the goblin, and then she looks to the four of you with you and all of the guests. Has anyone left?
Not that I saw.
If this was a murder, then I suspect that the killer is still in the building amongst us. And there are a number of gasps and pearl clutches from the gathered guests. The paladin stands, sort of like helps the goblin up, and I'm considering this a murder investigation. And while the investigation is ongoing, I will seal the magics of the front door, trapping us all in here. No one may leave without my express permission. We will need to work together in the meantime to find out who has committed this heinous crime. And sort of like looking across the gathered, like you all gathered around the table with this stern look, the paladin like turns to leave the room, and as she kind of steps into the doorway, she stops for a moment, as if as if a thought has just struck her, and then she turns back and, Agatha, she says to the Wolfkin mage at the end of the room, this mansion, the magics that sustain it, will they end at some point? And Agatha, well, yes. The archmage already stepped outside to reconjure the mansion spell that keeps this locked in place. Without him doing so, the spell will end. And what will happen when that spell ends, Agatha? We'll be dropped harmlessly outside the tower. There's a moment of pause from the paladin before she says, and presumably if the spell ends, the mansion and everything in it disappears as well, is erased from his existence. There's a grumble from the Wolfkin. Yes. It will be gone for good. We only have a few hours then, the paladin says. We will need to act quickly to find the evidence we need before it disappears forever. Form up into groups, all of you, and see what you can discover about the house. I will begin working on a few divinations in the parlour that may be of aid to any of you. Please come and find me if you have any questions, but be careful. And her eyes go to each of you in turn very pointedly. There is a killer amongst us. So.
You look shifty.
Well, tell you what. Yeah. If you want to, Vanier, roll me an instinct roll. A sense check.
Okie dokie. Details, just double checking. I am going to, because I've got loads of hope, use one of my experiences, heightened senses, to try and see if I can hear different heartbeats between everyone, or like, you know, hear certain mumblings, or see any like twitching of people's like disposition, body language, things like that. So I'm just using all my senses to look at each and every person in this room to just gauge their reactions. So I will take away one hope.
Okay,
and
down to 4.
I'm going to make... So this will be a roll with +4.
Okay.
Let me just do the roll. 15 with fear.
15 with fear. So you're able to tune in, and like as you squint slightly as you regard, well, as you look around you, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 potential suspects. You can be pretty confident that it's not Rayri or Cal. But everyone else, so the Paladin Valana, Mayor Montgomery, Bendel the Butler, Agatha the Mage, Stradivon the Awakened Statue, Lady Gwendolyn, and the Chef Sharir, they are all like they like you haven't like there's nothing to have struck them off the suspicion list. So it's those 7. Sorry, and the 7th is the dragon scent in your number.
His heart is definitely beating.
Yeah.
Very loudly.
Yes. So as you scrutinize these people on a 15 with fear, 15 with fear, was it?
Yeah, 15,
Yeah, 15 with fear. So you notice that everyone seems like elevated. Lady Gwendolyn recently fainted and she's being sort of like tended to by the little Terran sprite Maya. Well, Stradivon is quite clearly like readingless, given that he's just a hulking statue. But yeah, everyone looks a bit like on edge, looks a bit shifty. And you get this horrible creeping feeling that perhaps it could be anyone that you suspect it to be. Because if they're trying, the people that you're looking at are either guilty and trying to hide it, or innocent and trying not to look guilty. So, with that in mind, with the dire warning from the paladin that the mansion will disappear at midnight, you glance at there's a you check the time, Vanier, and realise that it is 6 o'clock. Well, sorry, since you arrived at 6 for the evening, but in the meantime, off the back of your fear, it is now 7 o'clock. There are 5 hours remaining until midnight. So, yes, as the Keeper Paladin moves out and begins kind of casting her abjuration wards on the door to stop it from being used, you see that the number of the guests in the room start kind of... yes, that's the noise that Bendel makes. A number of the NPCs start breaking up into groups. You notice that Agatha and Maya Montgomery have sort of like headed over to Bendel the butler, as they sort of like tend to him for a moment. Stradivon stands from his seat and, "Please, my lady, retire with me to the parlour." And she nods, and the two of them kind of group up. The chef says, like, realising that dinner is most likely ruined, the mood, it is not the mood for a 3-course anymore. So the chef declares that she is heading to stay with the Justicar, to the Paladin, to make sure that everything's fine. But Agatha turns to the 4 of you as well and says, "The 3 of us, we're going to try and find a motive for whoever might have done this. We have a suspicion that the evidence will be in this mansion, and we will find it." And the 3 of them sort of like nod, and they go kind of marching out into the mansion. And Stradivon and Lady Gwendolyn heads to the parlour. So the 4 of you are left be.
I immediately, knowing between the companions I do know of, me and Rary are good at tracking. Owl's usually better with people, but in terms of investigative work, I think even Vanier's a little bit where we might be lacking, so he quickly turns around to Alfred and he's like, Alfred, this is good time for you to show us your skills and potentially become an explorer.
It is?
Yes, this is your time to shine. Now then, what would be the first thing we should do in this scenario, eh?
I would, personally, look at the body.
Correct answer. And he just starts marching.
Oh, right now? I've never actually seen
no
her.
time to wait.
Okay.
I see what you're getting at. If you need to barf, just go to the corner of the room. You'll be fine. You're with us. And gives you a sort of like hearty pat on the back. If you spew up what you have eaten, I've got more food in the back, so I've got you covered stomach-wise.
That's very thoughtful of you.
Come on now, no time to waste, everyone. And yeah, I start making my way
downtown. That's a copyright strike right there. So, as by all means, start moving your tokens around. So, as you enter back into the white marble floored foyer, you see the Keeper Paladin kind of casting her spells across the front door, just as she said she was. And you see the chef is kind of stood beside her, looking kind of like she looks at you all, like there's a look of fear in her eyes as this group of sort of like strangers starts milling about the mansion. But yeah, you also see Agatha, Bendel, Mayor Montgomery, and they're sort of like conversing. But as the four of you kind of move through the room, like around the bubbling fountain in the centre of the room, you see the three of them. Well, you see Mayor Montgomery and Agatha like look in your direction with like relatively unsubtle, suspicious looks. As you go past, and Vanya, as you go to approach the stairs up to the bedroom, like the archmage's bedroom, Agatha calls out, "Be careful! That place will be likely filled with defensive traps of a powerful and arcane nature. It might not be particularly safe for the uninitiated like you to go in there."
Well, do you know how to disarm them?
I had a very good relationship with the archmage, but there were some secrets that he would not share even with me. And as he says that, the goblin butler next to him then says, "Also, the door is locked."
Right. Well, how did you see the body then?
Well, I unlocked it. And the goblin kind of looks a bit kind of awkward and doesn't look super comfortable. If you think it would be prudent to go inside, then we could have a look.
I think that would be wise, don't you think?
Bendel sort of like nods his head somewhat kind of forlornly and then very slowly shuffles over across the room. You notice that his shined shoes slip slightly on the polished marble floor, which makes him go even slower. But whenever he needs to change direction, there's a little bit of inertia, like in a Super Mario Brothers ice level. But he eventually manages to kind of catch up with you, and he reaches down really, like, with a shaky hand and with a jangly set of keys that he produces, like, no, this one. And then he, oh no, you don't, and unlocks the door. I haven't the heart to go in there again, so I will take my leave, but take Agathar's warnings seriously. There may be some powerful protective wards in there.
You went in, so can't you get rid of them?
Agathar says, like, pipes up as you ask the butler this. The problem we may face is that if Archmage Ulick is dead, then there may be wards that have activated on as a response, so that anyone pillaging his secrets after his demise will be stopped. Think of them as dead men's runes, if you will.
Right, no pillaging. Got it.
As you kind of say that, the keeper at the door, the paladin, she turns, and the door is now sealed. We have until midnight to conduct our investigations. But for me to be able to make this stick, please bear in mind, finding the murderer will not suffice. We will also need to find the murder weapon and discover the motive behind the murder. And, like, she nods, and if you excuse me, I will return to the parlour and begin arranging the rituals to conclude our investigation, should the need arise. And as she moves to the parlour, the chef kind of scurries after her. Yeah, you are now free. The door to the main bedroom is unlocked.
Rick puts his hand up. Bearing in mind possible deadly runes and a dead body, would you mind perhaps if I think from his backpack he takes his violin, and if I may, I'm not sure if you cast it but can I rally the group?
Ooh. Let's have a little look. See, because that's your, like, class ability, right?
Yes, it's my class feature.
Once per session, as your party prepares to enter a difficult or dangerous situation, describe how you rally them and give yourself and your allies a d6 rally die. So, yes, what does this look and or sound like?
He nervously, like, ping his violin. Well, I don't know about you, but murder aside, this has been quite a thrilling evening. And I know you didn't do it, so I fully trust that whatever we find in there, you will be able to overcome it.
Well, it's good to know that we, us four, have all been watching each other, therefore, and we know none of us have done it.
Exactly. I trust you all.
So,
Well, couldn't nobody went in there? Couldn't it have happened before we all were here?
So,
Just saying.
So, yeah, to be fair, you would have all arrived after the rest of the guests, and Alfric arrived after you three. So, in actual fact, maybe Alfric is potentially off the hook, unless he did it, left, and then came back.
Scale the walls with a little dragon, please.
Now, does anyone have particular skills with traps?
I've never seen a trap before.
I'm all right. I got some, tinkery things.
Would
Give it a
you
go.
rather take point, or do you feel otherwise, Carl?
I can go first. That's fine.
Well,
If I take damage, then, or if I get hit, I can take it. It's fine.
and I'll punch them back.
Sounds like a plan.
I think you could punch a trap, but okay.
You could try. I
For
recommend the
everything.
attempt.
Maybe
I believe in you.
I go beyond Carl.
Right. Okay, I'm gonna go in first. If it's gonna let me go in first.
So
I
yeah,
cannot.
you should be able to click the door and it should let you in.
Oh, there we go.
So,
There
Don't
he
go
is.
too far in. Just in case.
an eccentric collection of gaudy decorations adorn the walls and floors of this bedroom suite. Colourful rugs depict strange monsters, while flags and banners drape across the walls. On a nearby table, amid a stack of books, is a marble bust of the archmage, atop which his purple pointed hat sits. Unlike most of the house that is illuminated with candlelight, this room is illuminated with 1,000 tiny points of light, like stars, set into the ceiling. There is a large 4-post bed with deep purple fabric forming a canopy above the mattress. The bloody corpse of the archmage Ulick lies on the rug in the centre of the room.
I immediately look at Alfric. Are you okay?
Elfric's gone sort of quite pale around the scales. He kind of holds himself up from the doorway. Yeah,
First time can be a bit way. But
I'm good.
after this, you'll be good. I look at the other two and it's like, I can certainly have a look at the body, but unless anyone else wishes to have a little look first.
I mean, look away.
DM, without I'll say to Rayri in character, I go, there is around. Can you see anything around the body that might resemble a trap?
What
I guess
would be the best roll for?
It would be instinct, I'd assume, for perception. Whereas
so. For reference,
or investigating.
Picture fundamentally when it comes to the investigation, play this like a Monkey Island style point and click. So based off like details or whatnot that I might have said and read aloud text, like tell me what you want to investigate, and then either I'll just tell you or we'll get a roll or so on and so forth.
I plan to investigate the body, but I don't want to like get close to the body and then suddenly, boom.
I mean, the good thing about being hit with a disintegration spell at such a low level is that it would be instantaneous.
Yeah.
Would hurt.
You know,
Yeah.
Positive.
seeing what we've just been told, I'm just being careful.
Yeah, who wants to do some investigations?
I mean, we can all just investigate different bits. My investigation is no better than, like, my finesse is good. So if there's physical traps, I can disarm them. But magical traps.
Maybe if I can see from a glance, if I, without actually standing above the body, but getting close to the body, whether I can tell how he died, especially with my, I mean, I've cut, like, not necessarily humans per se, but I have the expertise monstrous culinarian, and I have carved up many bodies. Monstrous usually, but so I have some level of instinctual know-how when it comes to navigating a body.
It's the same as forensics, really.
Yes.
Blood spatter analysis.
The Venn diagrams of, like, people that prepare tuna and forensic science are basically overlapping.
Yeah.
I don't know why they go and get a degree.
If you're fundamentally trying to pass what's happened to this chap,
looking over his body.
Yeah, I would argue. I mean, that's, well, arguably you're analysing and comprehending, which is knowledge.
Yep, that's fine. I'll.
If you want to spend the hope, is that one of your, like, experiences?
Yeah.
Cool.
A monstrous culinarian. I'm gonna.
So, all of your experience of chopping up griffins gives you a perfect understanding of the lore of our anatomy. Okay.
So, I've got a -1 on knowledge, and then +2 brings it to +1.
Okay. Yeah.
I think. Yeah. -1, 0, 1. Yeah. So I got a +1 to this roll. And let's go. Oh, come on, with fear. Hold on. That's 8 + 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Plus another 1. 14 with fear.
Okay. You take a step closer to investigate the body. And the archmage is, like, lying face down in a massive, like, pool of blood which is staining the rug and the purple carpet. And, like, it's mixing to an almost black hue. Around him, you notice a broken wand, which you recognise as one of his wands that he was... One of the 2 wands he was dual-wielding in the portrait in the dining hall. There's a pile of sealed letters. There's a letter opener, and they're all covered in blood on the ground around him. As you sort of, like, turn him over, his robes, just in general, are just soaked through with blood. And it's like, in this moment, unless you really start sort of, like, roughhousing him, it's difficult to gauge where, like, because everything's sticky, right, because of the blood, so it's difficult to see, like, what it is that killed him. But you assume that, given where the blood is on his body, it's probably some sort of stab wound somewhere in the torso.
And I relay this information as I'm like, lift up the body slightly, and then I'll relay that information to my fellow companions.
So maybe we'll just look at him. So you're saying he fell on his own letter opener?
Maybe.
Is a letter opener sharp enough?
Anything sharp enough.
With the right attitude.
I suppose you have more world experience than I do.
Can you imagine? The wizards, they're like, with the letter opener, he sees his letter and he's got his knife and he's like, to hell with this.
Just do a belly flop, like all 4 limbs up in the air, just to...
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. But yes, looking through it, you would wager, like the letters that are scattered around him, like they are blood sodden enough that they're pretty much going to be
What?
Unreadable.
Illegible.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Illegible from like the blood damage. Yes, that arguably this is your first hypothesis that he chest dived onto his own letter opener.
Put that one down on the list.
Okay.
Himself. Right.
What's Cal or Rayri thinking? Like, what are you doing? Oh, sorry. Also, Dan rolled with fear, so.
Yeah.
Boop. 3 fear for me.
Ravi would like to have a little look and see if there's anything on his desk. Not touching the desk, just glancing and see if there's anything on the desk. Was he writing something? Or was he having some correspondence?
Sure. So, the desk itself is like it's pretty cluttered. As you look across the desk, I mean, which skill, which ability would you suggest you were using, just so I know what sort of info to give you?
I think I would be just perceiving. I just want to sort of get a glance of want to see what's on the desk. Sure. Rather than trying to.
So, okay, in which case, on the desk are, as a stack of books. There's a pretty accurate depiction of his face as a marble bust with his very kind of typical pointed purple hat on top of it. And sort of like amongst all the books and the scrolls, the one thing that catches your attention is a small-ish lock-sized, a small-ish rosewood box. It's got a little, you can see, it's got a little keyhole on the front of it in a sort of like a gold plating. And engraved on the top of the rosewood box is a thornless rose.
Thornless rose. Interesting.
Quick question: we haven't seen the other wand that he dual wields with, right? We've only seen the one broken wand.
No, that's still in his chest. No, there's only one broken wand.
Yeah, just making a point of that.
Can I have a closer look at the box? I think after Rory's been told about traps, what would be the best way to what would you want for me to look to see if it looks like it's been it has anything in it It's got a glyph on it.
Well, if you're talking, like, we can be relatively loosey-goosey with the abilities. So, like, if you're, like, you could argue for finesse under, like, tinker. You could argue for instinct for, like, perceive, or knowledge for analyze.
From Rory's point of view, would be looking at more of a tinkering kind of. She wants to see how if it's locked, if it has anything, like if it looks like it's a lockbox, or if it's got anything suspicious about it, or...
Okay. Yeah, roll me a tinker. So, a finesse, sorry. Roll me a finesse.
Yeah. Let's get... it was... Where's that one gone? There it is. 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15 with fear.
15 with fear. As you inspect the rosewood box, you quickly notice, like, you're able to quickly like identify that there doesn't seem to be any kind of physical traps around this. Or sort of like, as you kind of take a step back and you kind of glance around, off the back of a 15, you kind of acknowledge that there doesn't really seem to be anywhere around you that might house physical traps. There's no, like, depressions, there's no soft spots in the carpet for spears to come up through the floor, or there's no holes in the walls for crossbow bolts to fire, or any of the typical traps you might expect. And so you intuit that perhaps because he's an archmage, the chances are that this room would have been protected by, like, arcane traps and wards, like, exclusively. So, if nothing else, the fact that the four of you, you can hear Vanya, like, tossing around this corpse behind you, like, so kind of roughhousing it. And it just strikes you that, like, if there were magical traps in here designed to deter, like, tomb robbers, if you will, one of the four of you should have set one off by now. Especially, you've got that, like, proper green round the gills dragon scent behind you as well. Yeah. He would have set something off.
Reed's in the wrong place.
But nothing. No one's exploded. No one's been electrocuted. No one's been disintegrated. You wonder if there are any traps in here. But as you think that, you're able to, like, kind of emboldened and, you know, perhaps a little bit absent-mindedly, the rosewood box just opens. Like, you open it up, it wasn't locked in the first place. But inside, you spy an engagement ring. Like a rather beautiful gold-banded ring studded with a large diamond in the centre, and then kind of flanked by a ruby, a sapphire, a topaz, and an emerald. Kind of connected with very thin, spiraling kind of gold, like filigree. Sat on top of an enveloped letter that is unsealed.
So Ray's just sort of lies, just glint, and she like looks around. She sees that Vanya is whatever Vanya's doing. She just grabs Cow's sleeve, and she just Cow. She doesn't really know Ulfric yet, so she's just stage whispering. There's a massive ring
in this box. I don't think he'll miss it, do you?
She just drags him over and shows it to him.
I'm just being dragged towards this box. Okay. In that case,
Mary's trying to be like,
yeah,
as if they're not really looking in the box because she doesn't want Alfric. She doesn't know Alfric, so she's just kind of like not, just.
He might want it for himself.
Exactly. It's just papers and stuff. Do you want to look at the papers? And she's there, just pointing at the ring. Oh, look at that paper. That's really interesting, isn't it, Cal? Look at that one.
Cal is like, he doesn't know what Rary's mindset is. All he knows is he's pointing at this ring. Is it, out of curiosity, is it a kind of ring that Cal may have seen? Does he recognize its engagement ring, or is it like a certain style?
Sure. I mean,
is there anything about this that might ring alarm bells that, or
so it is definitely an engagement ring. That much is abundantly clear, and like you can't help but let out a slow little when you kind of see the luster and the quality of like the gemstones. So like whoever this was intended for, like, I mean, how rich is an archmage? But clearly, like, this was a very, very extravagant and opulent kind of token.
You know, a year's salary.
Years. It's not. So I would argue there's no real particular style that kind of suggests who it may be kind of for, or where it was kind of procured or whatnot. But you, like, looking in the rose box, you kind of note that like in this lockbox, in this little kind of lockbox, this rosewood box, the fact that it was sat on top of this kind of opened letter, you suspect the letter may have some more information for you.
As we're like both looking at it, Rary's just kind of fingers are just.
Cal just bats them. Cal's like, no. I'll do it. And I think Cal is going to put his hand in to take the letter very carefully. Because if I get hit by a trap, everyone else has probably got less hit points than me.
Sure.
So I'm going to take the front if there is some sort of trap on this.
Okay.
So yeah.
So, as you kind of reach for this letter and you slowly flick open the envelope and pull out the handwritten letter in it, the first thing you notice is that nothing explodes. So you're able to relax for a moment. And then the letter is penned by hand, and it reads, "My dearest Gwendolyn." Many have been the hours where I have regretted my actions not too long ago. Please do not take my actions as any sort of indication on you as a person. You are as delicately divine and beautiful as the dragons themselves. but I fear that it was my own fear that has led to so much pain and anguish for the both of us. I beg to all who are holy that you will find it in your heart to forgive me for my transgressions. And I hope more so that we might remain as two individuals who care for one another. You deserve better than me. And I hope you find the happiness you are long overdue. Yours forever, if you will have me. Algar Ulick.
So Al reads, so Cal reads the letter.
Sorry.
And then he...
Like, as you read the letter, you then turn it over and notice that on the back, in a different handwriting and a different ink, "This is yours. I no longer want it. G."
Yikes.
Trouble in paradise.
Cal's reading it, and Ravy's just like trying to read it as he's reading it. Just like, she didn't want it then! She didn't want it then!
What did you find?
I think our boy here had girl trouble. Maybe she was the trouble.
Who?
Lady Gwendolyn downstairs.
As
It was a dragon, supposedly.
as you kind of report this to Vanier, Cal, as you kind of say this to Vanier, Alfric, you're kind of looking around the room. You've just heard. Cal, have you fundamentally read out the letter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I've heard love in the air.
So you then note that amongst the various kind of banners and drapes on the walls, there is a portrait. Like one of the drapes is kind of partially obscuring it, and as you move the drape aside, it is a portrait, undeniably, of Lady Gwendolyn at a much younger age.
He was in love.
What's she dressed like? Is it erotic?
It is not. Unfortunately not. No. But her opulent state of nobility is firmly on show in this portrait. And it is a very kind of proper, like by the numbers sat with the chin up and, yeah.
Very demure, very mindful.
Yes.
Interesting.
I make sure there's like no one just overhearing us in this room as I'm about to suggest. Assuming that no one's just at the door trying to listen in on us. I'll kind of come over and I'll say, yeah, everyone's like, huh?
They heard girl trouble and they ran.
Right. So it was obviously this Gwendolyn who killed this guy then, yeah?
He fainted
Hypothesis
when he heard that he died.
Well, if I was...
You can be... Go on.
If I was given a ring like that, and then why would I give it back and then kill him? Like, you just keep the ring. Wouldn't you? Will you just keep the ring? Can we keep the ring? Are we going to keep the ring? We should keep the ring. Well, I got distracted there. Wait, what was I talking about again? Oh yeah, she would have kept the ring. She wouldn't. She would good. She would keep the ring. Like we're gonna keep the ring because we're keeping the ring.
Surely we should give the ring back to her. I mean,
You already gave. I want it.
but they were in love.
It's very stiff.
As Rayri is putting forward her theories and her protestations, and Alfric, as you know, there's an almost of a flutter in your pose as you say, "Oh, but they're in love." You hear a distant but distinct scream somewhere from behind you,
Another
Alfric.
one.
Hide the ring.
I guess we run.
Yeah, we go find out who's screaming.
I pick up the broken wand as well. I don't know if on our way out, because it's the only weapon that I see in this room right now.
Sure.
But
I'll
not the
just
letter opener, you know, because he could have just killed himself with that.
Did I find the letter opener?
Yeah, there's a letter opener.
I think it was
There's
on the
right, like-
floor.
It was bloody on the floor.
Yes, there is a bloody letter opener on the floor.
I pick it up as well.
But yes, you hear a... Okay, so you've grabbed the broken wand and the bloody letter opener. Okay, so if
And
you...
the ring.
And the letter.
The ring in the box. Ravi's just as this hears the scream, she goes and then just closes the box.
Shuffle's
and
got
then
the
puts it in pocket.
portrait.
Oh
Well, I'll let you lot decide who's got what. But Alfric, as you hear the scream and you turn around, there's a moment of confusion, and then the Justica, like the paladin Valana, kind of runs back out of the parlour, and you see her sort of like looking around in a bit of a panic. And she, seeing you come out of the bedroom, she looks to you and, "That was the chef. That was the chef." And the paladin kind of stops for a moment, and then she said she was going to make some food and drinks in the kitchen. That way, she says, and the paladin frantically gestures in the direction of the dining room. And you would suspect the kitchens would be on the other side.
I suppose we're running in that direction.
Yeah.
Going.
Yeah.
So yeah, as you go past the Justica, she says to you, "I'll stay here to keep the guests in the parlour safe." But and you see her sort of like wrestling with it, and she, "Don't blast it," she says, and she starts to run with you.
Yeah.
Cal, as you burst into the kitchen, like the kitchen itself is a bit of a state, but you see that to your right, like on the right hand wall, is a door, an open door to like a parlour of some sort. And as you approach, you see that there is a trap door that is currently open.
Okay, gonna go down the trap door.
Okay. In which case, who else is going down to trapdoor?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay. So, as you head down the trapdoor into a basement of sorts, it's a relatively small basement that holds several casks of ale and wine. But Cal, as you descend, the thing that attracts your attention first is what appears to be two small kind of cage-like holding cells with iron bars. And one of them, as you emerge, have I picked up Ravy? I haven't picked up Ravy. Oh, hang on, let's put you there. Oh, we've got two. Why have we got two Ravies? No, there we go. Okay, so as the four of you descend, you see the Chef Sharir over in the far end of the basement, sort of like on on the ground, sort of like backing away into some barrels. Because as you descend, you hear an inhuman and what appears to be a dead cadaver swipes at you as it moves out of one of the holding cells and goes to grapple you, Cal, and the other three of you as you descend. But as the chef sort of screams and kind of scrabbles backwards into a corner, as this undead thing kind of lurches towards you, and it swings at you with kind of long curved claws cut in lieu of fingernails, and this kind of shuffling gait. And as it looks to you, and in this moment, the word that comes to your mind is wrong. So there's something wrong. You may or may not have seen. How many of you have seen undead creatures, do you feel, in your pasts?
I feel like Cal has. I feel like Cal has fought undead before.
So, I mean, yeah, some of you may... So, those of you who fought in the war proper, you may well have battled undead forces during the war, but this creature looks wrong by comparison. But as it surges towards you, and this long kind of snaking tongue hanging out of its mouth, we'll go for a quick break. So, we will be back in approximately 15 minutes. If you're enjoying this, make sure to hit the like button. Comment down below on your suspicions so far as to who it may be, and or if you agree with any of the theories that the explorers here have already come up with. And if you want to see more stuff like this, make sure to hit the subscribe button and the bell icon, because we're releasing loads of new content. We wouldn't want you to miss it. And also, if you subscribe, you can chat to us in the chat, like Beef and Nate are doing so. But yeah, see you all in 15 minutes. Take care. See you in a bit. Bye.